Just finished up my pre-workout meal, and as the kids are out here playing in the pool and running around and causing havoc, like being 6 days out, my energy is very, very little. My patience is pretty thin. So Kara, fortunately enough, is taking on 99.9% of the burden of the kids and dealing with them, reprimanding them, tending to all their needs every 5 seconds, because like at this stage right now where I'm at, no matter how much food I get, whether it's a high carb day or a baseline diet day, no matter what it is, still very lethargic, very tired, patience thin, just because of the low body fat. Everything hurts when you walk. When you sit down, it's just sitting on like a cushion, cushion chair, like you're just feeling muscle and bone. Pretty much you have no fat to, cushion where you sit. So it's just overall very difficult, and you have to recognize it when your patience is running thin. And I try to channel that as much as I can to obviously not feel any type of way or express any like outward thoughts towards the kids or towards Kara, etc. So it's a very humbling experience being at this stage and just being at this level of leanness with kids. So difficult. So I'm definitely grateful for Kara for taking on the majority of that, but it's tough. Give me a hug. Hey, be good. Do you want to put on something? Do you want to put a movie on?
You got to be a little mental, I think, to do what I did. I don't want to like sound crazy, but you have to be a little fucked up. The fucking mindset of like getting up every day and pushing yourself. And you're eating 12 to 16 ounces of meat and 100 to 150 grams of carbs every meal, and you're doing that 7 times, and you do it day in, day out. You got to have a very simple mindset. You can't be social. You can't be out doing a lot of other activities. So you put on the blinders and you have tunnel vision on what that ultimate goal is.
This is hard part of prep. Like I said, I'm 6 days out here and doing this back workout. Nothing's really contracting. Just kind of going through the movements. Like, I'm just making sure the movement is near perfect, weight's lighter. But even with that, like, the muscle contraction is very nil just because of the amount of carbohydrates that's in my system, which is nothing. And the low levels of body fat, just the fatigue is overall accumulating. So this whole week is going to be primarily based on managing fatigue, making sure inflammation is staying down, but still making sure that we're working the muscle and keeping it stimulated, getting some blood flow, some nutrients to there. Just trying to push through. Just trying to push through.
On track with everything. I mean, everything was structured. I lived in a fucking box in order to be the best, meaning I had no outside. People would call me with their problems, I'd hang up on them. Like the phones were off. Don't bother me with negative shit. And I just went at it. Like that's all I cared about. Like, that was what my life was like. It was like go full fucking throttle every day. That discipline was there. I always tell everyone it wasn't about the body, it was about the mind at first. But I trained my ass off. That's what separated me from like most guys. There was times where I almost passed out training. I'm lunging with 225 on my back in the parking lot, and I remember just like, okay, no one else is doing this, so I'm going to do it.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, is useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because
So I'm improvising my meals a little bit today, just because the time that I'm going to the gym is a little bit later than what I typically do. But I always like to finish my meals right now about 45 minutes before I actually start working out, so it's gonna be fully digested in my stomach, so I can maximize blood occurring in the muscle tissue versus being pulled into my stomach, taking that blood flow and response away from the muscles. So with the amount of food that I'm eating right now, which is only 30 grams of carbohydrates, and about between 40 and 50 grams of protein, eating it about 45 minutes before I go and train allows me personally enough time for it to fully digest and get into my system. So we're gonna eat now. I'm gonna go hit some shoulders and chest. One of my last, actually it is my last shoulders and chest workout before the show. Minus we're gonna do a little bit of touch-up stuff later on in the week. But this is the last main workout, so I'm looking forward to it.
that's to say, we confuse science with the real world.
So we're 3 days out, arm workout. After this workout, I have to go home and take pictures for Matt so we can see what kind of adjustments I need to make to my meal plan, if anything at all. See how flat I'm looking or see how pumped up I am. I can tell right now just from all these exercises, like I'm having slow and controlled movements for the most part. Even though the bicep is like flexing, I feel zero contraction. Absolutely no contraction at all. Pump is very, very small. It's just from being so depleted. I think this is my 3rd or 4th day in a row of doing like 115 grams of carbs a day, which is nothing. My body burns through that in the first like hour and a half. So like pretty much in a depleted state all day. So that's why the muscular contraction is just not there. And that's just the nature of this last leg of prep, is feeling that, or not feeling that, I should say. Anyone who's been through a contest prep who's been ultra lean knows this feeling. It's not the best feeling in the world. It absolutely sucks. But just gotta keep pushing through, keep doing, keep trying to stimulate the muscle as much as possible, keep trying to drive blood to it, nutrients to it, and just gotta finish strong. No other choice.